It's Rick without the K. James presents In My Opinion Podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
All right, we're going to start off season 4 of In My Opinion Podcast. I've got one of the innovators of the game, one of the greats. Man, I went through your resume today. It's too long to mention everything.
Oh, really?
But Think Like a Man, you have your own reality TV show, and the Get Some podcast that I love. That I've been watching. I've been watching you since Comic View, Gary.
That's a long time.
Yes. So thank you for sitting in on the podcast. Had a couple of quick questions. Just wanted to discuss a few things. First and foremost, like I said, I was in the military, so it's always intriguing to see somebody who else is doing comedy and have served their country. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And I think it's even more so meaningful for me because my dad was in the Navy.
Yeah.
That's how I first made it out to the Bay. My dad was stationed in Alameda before they closed it down.
That's a big base.
Yeah, it was a beautiful base. And coming from El Paso, Texas, I don't know if you know where that shithole is.
Yeah, I've been to El Paso. That was my first road gig.
Oh, really? Oh, it was a comic strip. Bart Reed, right?
Yeah.
So coming from El Paso and then seeing the Bay Area, it's
Yeah.
two different worlds. You're like, man, this is beautiful. Didn't want to go back to El Paso. But from what I've seen from your other interviews, you were military police. Is that correct? And I was always wondering. He never states like what he got out, what rank he got out at.
E5.
E5. What is
MA2.
that? What's that? First petty
Master
first.
Arms second class.
Oh, okay. Second class. All right. Cool. And I only say that because I did 6 years of reserve, and I got out as an E3. I tell people, and that's only funny
Underachiever.
because as military people know, the first 4 are given to you. So,
Basically.
so if you get out as an E3, you're like, man,
He was in trouble.
Yeah. I was always in trouble. But was the only base you were stationed at in San Diego?
No, I was in the honor guard for 2 years.
Where was that at?
Washington, D.C.
Oh,
We did
okay.
the funerals and the parades and the White House. Like I did the Clinton's inauguration.
Oh,
And
really?
Then, that was the first 2 years, presidential honor guard.
Where were you stationed there? In Bethesda or
no,
Andrews?
Navy Yard.
Where's the Navy Yard at?
Southeast.
Oh, okay.
Anacostia.
And that was probably a culture shock too, right?
Come from Ohio, small town. Yeah. You in Chocolate City.
Because that's where my dad finished his career at. Was in
The
Bethesda.
base is right in the hood. In the
So-
hood. There was a projects called Berry Farm Dwellings.
So that must have
they
been
were
in
not allowed
PG
to go in
County
there.
then, right?
Huh?
That must have been in PG
No, you in
County.
D.C.
Oh, in
Southeast.
D.C.
It's called Anacostia.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the hood. If anybody from D.C. knows Anacostia's the hood.
And what years was that, if you don't mind?
Early
asking?
90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
Clinton's inauguration.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You did say
93?
that. Okay. All right. That one. And then from there, you went to San Diego.
No, I went to the police academy in San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base. Then I went to, they call it the Brig Academy, which means you're getting your prison certification. That was in Anniston, Alabama, at Lackland Air Force Base. At Fort McClellan in Anniston, Alabama. And then I got stationed in San Diego.
So you did Lackland too in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. That's the police academy. So that was like 3 months.
Oh,
like
okay.
that. So honor guard to D.C. to San Antonio to Anniston, Alabama to San Diego.
Did you like San Antonio?
It was cool. Like
Culture shock.
nothing was ever a culture shock because you're with other people. It was just that was the first time I was with like grown Navy vets because honor guard everybody's young.
Yeah.
We're all our first 2 years in the Navy because you go from boot camp to the honor guard, and then so Lackland was the first time I was stationed with like people that have been in the Navy 10, 15 years.
Oh,
So you're with grown adults. So it's just a different dynamic.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna speed it up to San Diego only because I know that's where you started your comedy career. What made you start comedy? You just
I always wanted to do it. I just didn't know how you do it. Like, how do you become a stand-up? Because you're small town Ohio, I don't know. And then I get to San Diego and they had a comedy store in La Jolla. So Honestly, I just started hitting stages. Like I did this karaoke. They had Wednesdays was karaoke at El Torito, so I would do that. And Thursday night was this nightclub called Mr. O, so I just started comedy night there. And then Pacific Beach had all kinds of beach bars. So I was just all over.
If I'm doing the math right, because I've heard in interviews that's where you started, but you weren't 21 because you got kicked out of.
Yeah, I wasn't 21. I was 20.
So that means you must have joined the service at like 17 then.
Or 17.
Okay.
I turned 18 when I was in the Navy.
Oh, you just wanted to get out of the house.
I didn't have a great home life, and I just remember my stepdad. He was kind of a dick. He's still a dick, but he would always say like, 18, you're out. You out. I don't care. You out. So I said, I'm being to the punch. I left at 17.
Could you sign for yourself in Ohio?
No, my mom had to sign for me.
Your mom had to sign for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were in San Diego, and you decided to try out. That's I guess what I'm trying to get to too, because that's where I can't understand is one, the military doesn't really like let you out. You've got to meet your guidelines, and then they get you out. And the story that I've heard on other interviews is you got the Comic View thing before you were even out.
Yeah.
And then they kind of released you early, right? So how did that work?
I fabricated the story a little bit on stage. What really happened was I just took a week's leave and went up and filmed Comic View. So I came back down my base. A couple months later, I'm on TV and on the base at the same time.
Yeah.
So when I got offered the hosting job, my chief looked out for me. So he basically worked it out where I reported for duty every Monday morning. Okay. And I didn't go back to work the rest of the week. And then also my papers came in, I was out. So he basically was like, he just looked out. He was like, don't embarrass me.
Do you still talk to that guy?
No, I don't know what happened to him.
Do you have any military friends from like back then?
Because I run into people every now and then. Let me think. Yeah, I still got some honor guard. Okay. The honor guard guys I'm still friends with. And that's the thing of social media, Facebook and everything. You run back into people. So I think more honor guard than anything else as far as people I was stationed with. But you got to realize, I tore my ACL. So I was on 3 bases in like 4 years. Oh. So I was just like, I never was somewhere a long time because my knee was bad, you know? So.
Oh, okay. I guess I wanted to know for my own personal, because I know that's the way it is when the military. I have a friend right now whose son just joined the Navy, and he's in San Diego, but his ship just left and headed to Hawaii, so he's like out at sea and she goes, if my son goes to war, does he get hazard pay? And I just started cracking up. I was on, you don't get hazard pay in the military. That's
I often wonder that about, because I was stationed with NAB Coronado with a bunch of the SEALs, and that's where the Buds class is, and that's where like 3 of the 6 SEAL teams are there, and that's a big thing. Like when you're in the military, they're like, you get hazard pay. I said, they don't pay those dudes enough for what they're doing. I said, no. That ain't a lot for what they doing.
Yeah, and I said, well, why he's out at sea, he shouldn't get taxed or whatever, because he's not on land or whatever. And I said, so, but she goes, really, my son's only making like $900 every whatever. And I was like, eh.
You're getting free dental, free medical.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.